Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. This is going to be an update to how the Avatar Legends role-playing game Kickstarter is doing. So yesterday I covered it at, I think it was at like 700 or 800,000, and so, a day on, so 24 hours since launch, plus a couple of hours, so about 30 hours on. How is it doing? As you can see here on the page, 1.4 million euro, which is $1.7 million made, 14,500 backers after just 1 and a bit days. Really incredible how this is doing. To put this into perspective, their previous game, Root, same system, same type of Kickstarter, and same type of stretch goals in terms of the content that they were putting out there, did for its full run, like all 30 days, 600,000 overall, 6,500 backers. So already we're at 3 times the amount of money made, and we're going to eventually get to 3 times the number of backers, but already it's at like, what, 2.5 times. That really gives you the sense for the sort of Avatar boost that this has. And it's interesting to see that directly in terms of like numbers there. Root already, like it was a popular board game that they then turned into a role-playing game. So they got the Root IP and did their style of game with it. This is them doing it with Avatar, and it just goes to show that a series that is sort of popular within the sort of board game community did that well. A big, popular, huge franchise that is on the up and up, this is how well it's doing. That it's already done that 3 times over in just the first day, and is looking to go onwards and do well over that. So very interesting. So let's quickly cover the extra stretch goals that have been met since yesterday. So I think I covered all these ones here. The Adventure Booklet 1, the Kyoshi one, where Rangi sends you on a mission to get some Dao Fei. Azula NPC was unlocked, the Elder Playbook, the Water Journal design. This is, I suppose, the first new one. Adventure Booklet 2 is set in the Roku era. A visit to the Fire Nation capital, waterbending master Takukak discovered a hidden cache of stolen Earth Kingdom crates filled with meteorite metal. While he keeps up appearances during his visit, you must unearth the truth behind this suspicious theft. So really cool stuff there with a new character in the Roku era, so that will be cool to see if there's any Roku specific information that we didn't know about before in there. NPC legend Suki, really cool to see her unlocked straight away. And then this is something that I suppose will be the main thing I want to know about in the comments from you guys. There is some new pieces of art, like kind of promo stock imagery for the characters throughout this campaign. And this Suki one was the one that I think I really just latched onto a lot. Just because, like, with Suki alone and stuff like that, I think everyone's been thinking about Suki a lot recently. So this image, I don't remember ever seeing this specific image before. Something feels somewhat familiar about it, but what really stands out to me with this one is that the art style doesn't feel like the 2005 to 2008 sort of a promo art style. This feels much more kind of modern and like clean and new. So this looks to be some new Suki art. And obviously this is meant to be sort of in comparison to like older kind of Azula promo art that we've seen before. Everyone has seen this promo image of Tenzin. And then if you look through the rest of the Kickstarter, you'll see a lot of other stock imagery used. But that looks new. And in the same way, the Topps on-demand set had a new Zuko image. And as I'll get to in a minute, there's a new Aang image, I think. It might just go to show that one thing Avatar Studios has potentially done has been to introduce a sort of new, more updated kind of batch of stock imagery for the characters, which I think makes a lot of sense. That if they're going to be doing a lot of merchandise that has the Avatar Legends branding on it, they're not going to want to use the same old stock imagery. They're going to want to have much more updated, especially ATLA imagery, which is some of those older bits of imagery are getting kind of old and overused. So new stuff is always cool to see. Razor PDF Playbook Adventure Booklet 3 Ashen Steel is in the 100-Year War era, so before Aang wakes up from the ice. You've been asked to provide security for a Fire Nation defector who's offering war plans stolen from Ozai's palace in exchange for asylum in Ba Sing Se. As the machinations of Grand Secretariat Long Feng unfold, you must decide who to trust in this web of lies. And there's likely going to be Adventure Book 4 and 5 for the Aang and also the Korra era. So they're going to be, I suppose, future stretch goals. New journal design for Earth, so we now have water and earth, fire and air to go, obviously. NPC Legends Sokka, we've passed this amount, but it hasn't been unlocked yet. I'll just refresh the page here just to see if it's been updated. We'll go up here. So yeah, they still haven't unlocked this in terms of making the image colorful, but we've hit this amount of money and we're really close to hitting this one as well. The Destined playbook. New journal design for Fire at 1.875. We're definitely going to get that. And I think 2 million is pretty much already like all but confirmed within the next few days. Katara NPC Legend. So the big question is, what are going to be the stretch goals beyond this? Obviously, one of them is going to be Air Journal to finish the set of 4. We're going to see, I'd guess, at least a few more playbooks. I don't think they'll have that many more just because already there's been quite a few. And they probably don't want to overload you with there being like 30 different character archetypes. NPC Legends, I think they're probably going to be a thing where like you probably can't have enough. Like we have Katara, Sokka, Suki, Azula, Tenzin, and then in the campaign they already mentioned there's going to be like Kyoshi, Roku, Aang, Korra, and Iroh. Kuvira's mentioned, but she isn't mentioned as being a character who has a Legends kind of entry yet, so I'm wondering, is that just an oversight and she is going to be covered, or we have to unlock her as a stretch goal down the line? The thing obviously going forward is that there's going to be a demand for a lot of the other characters, like Zuko, Toph straight away, but then there's probably even going to be a demand for the likes of Bumi as an earthbending master, Zhong, Pakku, going into Korra, like the other Korra characters, like Bolin. He's theoretically the only character you could ever learn lava bending moves from. Obviously, lava bending is a bit of a weird one where technically you can't just learn that ability from someone, but I guess the idea is going to be that you create your earthbender character as actually having the potential to be a lava bender. Bolin is a character who can teach you some of those moves. I guess you probably need him. Mako, Asami from the Kyoshi era, you probably want Rangi, of course, and so on. The list just kind of keeps going from there, of course. So there's at least 5 to 10 characters you probably have to hit, and the way they're doing it one by one, that's like 10 more stretch goals. That's like an extra like million onto the goal, and we're already at like 1 point something million, so they're already sort of stretching it in the sense that obviously one of them is going to be this, there's going to be a few more of these, and then some other goals in there as well. They're going to have to be, I suppose, a little bit more strategic in how they do this in terms of giving, I suppose, everyone what they want here. But I assume towards the end, maybe when they really realize they are maybe running out of steam, they might not be able to meet many more stretch goals. They probably will just be like, hey, this was amazing. We got like our 3.5 million. Here's like 5 characters right at the end. We're just going to give you as well. I assume they'll do bonus sort of celebratory stuff at the end as well. So there's that. Especially because what I will say here as one slight criticism of this Kickstarter is that the way they did this journal thing and the different covers, I thought was very much stretching out your stretch goals. Like, I get it to a degree, you five of these journals with a standard cover, and I understand having one other tier to change that into having element covers. But to separate each element out into its own tier, I just thought that was a really weird move, just because they obviously knew they were going to hit them all based on the trajectory of the project. and how early these goals were going to be. But like, it obviously it suggests the idea of like, what if funding just stopped like now? What if it just hit 2 million and just stopped? They don't have a goal currently for Air. Would they actually let the campaign just like go ahead and like, oh yeah, you just get 2 normal books and you get fire, earth, and water, no air? They're not going to do that. They're going to put air in. So I just feel like, kind of, why do that when you maybe could have gotten some of the characters out of the way first? It wouldn't, I think, have really affected the amount of money you're going to make. So it just feels like they're maybe stretching it a little bit on that side of things. But yeah, going into some of the other content about art, in their update here, covering these new tiers, this image of Aang, again, look how clean the art style is here. And again, it's a promo image of Aang. I don't think I've seen this image of Aang before, but it looks really nice. It looks new, and it fits in line with the art style for the Suki. So this is what makes me really think that like there maybe is just a whole new batch of stock art for a lot of the characters that they are getting to use now as one of the first, projects that Avatar Studios is actually involved in, using the Avatar Legends branding, which I'm guessing will eventually have a thing where we get just merchandise from Nickelodeon or whatever that is Avatar Legends merch that we'll probably see with this new style art on. So we'll just quickly take a look through some of the other campaigns to look at some of this other imagery. So we've seen this before. This was used on one of the old trading cards. More recently, it was used as like the back cover for one of the comics. I think it was the short story collection, library edition. Again, some of these kind of portrait shots, like this Roku image, is that new or not? Like, is that just a screenshot from the show? I'm not really sure. Again, this promo shot of Aang in the Avatar state, sort of very clear, just, face sort of turn image of Korra there. And then these are like obviously more old school at this point. This was a promo shot of Aang that they put out to hype up his return to properly being the Avatar with the invasion. Like, we know about this imagery has been around for years. Same goes for this Katara imagery and so on. The Sokka one, I just haven't looked at a lot of the promo shots immediately, but it doesn't immediately stand out as like something I super remember, but it also, I'm not sure if it is new or not, in a way. If we go on, everyone has seen this stock imagery for Korra. I'm really familiar with the Korra stock imagery just because covered like every piece of Korra news as it was coming out, of course. We've all seen that before. Again, this Korra image is so standard. We've seen this a lot. This Aang, I think we've seen it before, but it looks a little newer than you'd maybe think. This Iroh, again, this Iroh imagery here, that feels somewhat new to me. As we go through here, there's that Aang image again, and again you can see here, we know this Aang in the Avatar state. We've seen that one before, and then look at this. Probably like the one that I'm most tired of is this Korra image on the side here, that typically has the 4 elements. I think it even feels a little off model to me. It's 2010 2011 kind of Korra promo art, so it doesn't stand out much to me. But yeah, there's the adventure booklets, pledge levels. You can see sort of like Otter Penguin, Momo, Pabu. That's the stock image of Naga that we've had for years. We've all seen this Appa image. We've all seen that Cabbage Merchant. This Toph we've seen before. So most of it seems to be reused, and you can tell just from the style of the art. But some of it is definitely new, just because like this Suki clearly to me stands out. Like, let me know in the comments if I'm going on a complete tangent and you know exactly where this Suki image is from. But this, and like I said, this Aang feel new to me, along with stuff like the Iroh and like I said, the Zuko that they showed off as one of the tops cards. It's clearly promo imagery that we haven't seen before. So that's, to me, really cool. The final thing I'll say is just, going back up to the numbers here. What are we at? uh, 1,717,000. So continues to rise as I'm speaking here. But it just goes to show this is how intense and eager the Avatar fandom is at this point in time. That, let's be real here, Avatar Studios was announced in February, and exactly nothing has happened with that in the last half year. We have had basically no update on Avatar Studios apart from some rewordings of what they said in the first place, and Jeremy Zuckerman is also a member of the team. But that's it. Like, Avatar Studios to us, as far as we know, is like 3 people, even though it absolutely is more people than that. But they've been so secretive about it. We don't know who is and is not involved in it, or what exactly they're doing. So Magpie Games being quite open about the fact that we have worked with Mike and Brian, we've worked with Avatar Studios to make this game what it is. They gave us the Avatar Legends sort of logo and branding. We're using official imagery. That stuff is kind of like, there we go. That's actually a subtle, small update that this is the sort of behind the scenes stuff that Avatar Studios is doing that we're not really hearing about. Is that like, oh cool, I guess some new imagery is being made, so you have updated like Avatar stuff. That's cool to use on like ATLA merchandise that is going to come out in like 2021, 2022. Finally some updated shots of like the characters, that sort of thing. That's all cool because they haven't told us anything, and even like the comics and novels, the fact that we're still waiting on news like when's the next novel coming, what's the next Avatar comic. Sure, Suki Alone only came out last week, good book, but we don't know the follow-up. Yet we're in this hype period. The fandom is here waiting to go. The fandom is ready to put their money down on something that you wouldn't even necessarily associate as being something that, oh yeah, the Avatar fandom is going to raise like 2 million in 2 days for the role-playing game. I'd never have said that before all of this happened, but it just shows, I suppose, how desperate Avatar fans are for Avatar content, that this well-done Kickstarter by another company, mainly Magpie doing this with assistance from Avatar Studios, has people sort of freaking out, because you get a bunch of Avatar stuff that feels kind of new, has a little bit of new content in it, that people are really, jumping out of their skin to kind of to get. It just shows that, like, if you actually commit to put some stuff out and really build up a hype cycle towards Avatar Studios stuff, we're here and waiting and ready to go, and Avatar can become this huge thing. That if this game, RPG games, they're not for everyone. This has become a huge project, and in their update, I think they even say something quite interesting. Their previous record was 600k. They've smashed that, and they're closing in fast on the total funding record for an RPG on Kickstarter, which is 2.1 previously. They're going to hit that. This is going to become the #1 backed RPG ever on Kickstarter, and RPGs are typically mainly done on Kickstarter, so that is sort of a big deal. That's the Avatar fandom. That's what we're dealing with at this point, and it's just waiting for Avatar Studios to finally commit to putting stuff out. Magpie Games are being very communicative about everything. Avatar Studios not so much, and there is a frustration that surrounds that, and it's just the contrast about how cool this is, but we still know nothing about Avatar Studios. That's the sort of stuff that I just want to see come out, and by the end of the year, hopefully, they do put out a proper update about just the franchise, where we're going, because if this game gets this much attention, you can only imagine what, like, the announcement of the first series, the announcement of what the movie actually is, the first new imagery or trailer that we get of some of that new content, how much hype there is going to be surrounding that. That's what's just cool to see looking at these numbers. Now apply that to sort of the content that we mainly associate with Avatar, the story content. And you get a sense for, like, the fandom is back, and it's going to be right there for the next new piece of Avatar content. And it's so exciting to see that, a glimmer of it through a project like this, what's about to happen. So in the comments, like I said, give me your thoughts on the continued success of the Kickstarter, but mainly stuff like this new imagery. What are your thoughts on it? Which are the pieces that you've noticed as being new versus not being new? And what do you think's going on with it in terms of, like, is this like Avatar Studios promo shots of the characters or what? So that has been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.